Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca Molano, Bay Area Realtor, and I'm slapping with SLAPPboxing, season 5.
SLAPPboxing. What it do, man? The SBC is back in the building once again. Say it ain't so.
Man, it is what it is.
Oh man. Conslapulations on another episode, my brother. Man, we back.
Man, same to you, brother. Conslapulations.
Man,
that's what's slapping. You feel me?
That's what's slapping, man. Season 5. I'm your international homeboy, the incredible DJ 360, along with
your boy, man, SLAPPboxing greatness, man, aka Slapping Biko.
And I'm SLAPPboxing 360, aka Grandmaster Slap in the Furious 5. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you already know. You feel me?
Man, and we here, man. We're back in full effect. Everybody who is around the country, around the world, tapping in with us, man. You already know what it is, man. We here. We on every social platform, from YouTube to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look us up, man. Slap with 2 P's, boxing. That's BOXIN. You know what I'm saying? And we here. We back in the flesh, man. And we got another episode, man. We're gonna be doing some slaps. We got music. We got segments. We got a special guest tonight, and she hails from the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? San Francisco, to be exact. And she's gonna be, hey, yo.
I like how you said she.
She.
Salute to Women's History Month, though, too, man.
Salute to Women's History, man. And and she's about that empowerment too. You know what I'm saying? Not just for women, but for everybody. She's about that empowerment and giving us the opportunity to live out our dream. And you're gonna see exactly what that dream is right here on the SLAPPZ TV episode number 14. You know what I'm saying? 14, 15, where we at? 14, 15? I think, yeah, we had 15. Yeah, this is a 15, man. It's 15 piece, man. We have
with the 5 on it, man.
With the 5 on it. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead right now. Everybody around the world, man, everybody domestically, internationally, check us out. You know what I'm saying? We here, 360 and Greatness is in the building, and we're gonna be pulling up at a venue in a city near you real soon. Man. Yeah.
SLAPPboxing in the street is real, man. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't, go check out the social media, man. You'll see the last place we were in the streets together, man. You know what I mean? And that's real, though, man. So shout out to, man, that whole situation, man, from the homie for allowing us to come through and represent with him. And you feel me? That's real, though, man. Hey, man. Besides that, though, man, you feel me? I'm really excited about today's theme.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Today's theme, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming off of last week's theme, man, which was a good one too. You know what I mean? It's time to come with some of them real blaps. You feel me? And slaps.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm looking forward to that, though, man.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a very comfortable situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But without further ado, we're gonna bring in our special guest, man. And she hails from San Francisco, California, man. And she's in the place to be. Let's bring her in the correct way. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring her in the correct way. As you can see, her name is there, you know. But we got Rebecca Molano, real estate agent extraordinaire, brokerage. Let's get it. She's in the building.
Hey, shout out to the tycooness.
Oh, man. Hey, there she is. Rebecca Molano is in the building. What a joy, what a pleasure to have you on our platform. We really appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Having some technical issues, but you know, if it's not one thing, it's another.
That's all.
Make it work.
Oh man, that's what life's about. Figuring out these challenges, right?
Overcoming obstacles.
Overcoming.
Yeah. So I mean, how you been? How's your week been thus far? You know, we got through hump day. We got one more day of the week, but I know in your profession you probably don't get any weekends. You probably don't get a day off, right?
No, I'm on 24/7.
Oh man. So talk to us. So Rebecca Molano, ladies and gentlemen, we have someone on who is representing the ladies, you know what I'm saying, in this Women's History Month. And we would like to, you know, just get an idea of what you do. Just tell us about Rebecca Molano, what you do, and then we're gonna go back, we're gonna rewind the tape deck and go back in your history and talk about some things. But tell the world what you're doing now and what you bring into the table for the people.
Okay, so thanks for having me, you guys. I'm excited to be here. I'm sorry I was a little late. Life is hectic. I'm a realtor.
No, you right on time. You right on time.
I was trying to leave dinner ready for the fam so I could come hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm a realtor in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and you know, we're in one of the most expensive metros in all of the United States. And our demographic, as far as buyers and who's really involved in real estate, you know, it kind of looks one way. And so in the last couple of months, as we were preparing for 2023, which was predicted to be, you know, a tough year for real estate. I don't know how much you guys keep up on the market, but, you know, if you turn on the news, you hear about inflation, you hear about home prices dropping, everything is relative, right? So last year, what happened was interest rates went up. And when interest rates go up, it makes loans less affordable because your payment is higher, obviously. Right. And so the market really dropped out here. And I'm not going to say it's super dropped, but it slowed. And so all the predictors said that 2023 was going to be recession, that the market was going to be bad. And so last year I was thinking about other ways to create a stream of revenue, right? Because where I'm at, there's probably like 5,000 realtors, like literally. So it's super competitive. There's a ton of brokerages out here and there's limited buyers, right? The Bay Area is very small. Right. And so what I started doing was first-time homebuyer seminars. And I thought about, like, I like money, right? Who doesn't like money?
Right.
I love slanging houses, right? Like selling these multi-million-dollar homes. It's fun, it's exciting, it's luxurious. Right. But as a human being, and you know, I'm 43, I'm not 23 anymore. Like, you know, at this age, your values are a little bit different. And so I was thinking about how can I integrate like my desire to give back to my community and to all of our communities, right? And still kind of involve real estate. So I was creeping up in the DMs and I reached out to, because that's what you got to do.
Right.
Yeah, you do.
And you know what? It was funny because I follow, you know, some local people. And the reason I reached out was because Black C from RBL Posse, he put up a little meme, right? He put a meme of what do you call him? Like a cowboy, a ranchero, right? A Mexican dude. Yeah. And I just thought it was so funny because he was dancing at a rodeo, but it was to an RBL song. And it went. So I thought, this is hilarious. Let me reach out to this guy. He's got a sense of humor. And, you know, I feel like a part of my new power in like the second phase of life is being authentic. And so I thought about my approach and I thought, let me keep it real with him. And I told him I'm first generation American. I, as a single mom, I lived in Hunters Point. I was in the area when Mario Woods was killed by the San Francisco police.
Right.
And so in doing real estate and then coming from where I come from, there's a lot of disparities. And I said, I want to reach a different demographic that may not be exposed to real estate, investing, you know, creating generational wealth. So I asked him, would you be interested in linking up and kind of helping me promote these seminars so where we can teach people that may not have thought that they could ever buy a house, right? Because if you're here and the entry point for a single family home is $1 million, you know, you think that's unachievable.
Yeah, it's a discouraging number. Like, you know, for me, growing up in the Bay Area, then leaving, and then having the wish to want to come back one day, and then looking at how much the houses are, and it's like, or the cost of living, it's like it discourages you and it makes you want to stay where you are. You know what I'm saying? So, what would you say to somebody who is from the area and wants to return?
Ooh,
but
that's a good one.
but feels like they can't afford the ticket of a nice house that you would probably get for half the price or maybe even less down south somewhere.
So what I would say is with real estate, you got to start, you got to get in where you fit in, basically, right? So what I'm doing with these seminars is teaching people how to prepare their credit, how to qualify for a mortgage, you know, like what the whole scene looks like in order to become a homeowner. Now, if we prepare you for everything and, you know, things just don't add up, but you have good credit and you have a little bit of money, what I encourage people to do is buy outside of the Bay, buy in a more affordable area that's up and coming, and invest. Invest. Just get in there, even if it's just something to start. Like, I think when we think of real estate, we think of like buying our own home, right? Like we're renting, who wants to pay somebody else's mortgage, right? You think of the first step is to buy your own home. Well, if it's not possible, then why not buy an investment property? And there's so many different ways to get in, right? You could do the flipping, which is short-term investments. There's longer-term investments where you're buying a property and then you're renting it out and you're holding it. There's hacking. I learned a new word. There's actual term for it. It's called, I don't quote me, I think it's called arbitrage.
Okay.
But it's like you hear of people that will go and rent houses and then Airbnb them with permission from landlords.
Okay.
So there's so much money to be made out there. And there's so many ways to get into real estate without like spending your own money, without actually buying your first home for yourself, you know? So yeah, I would say if you want to come back and you may not necessarily have the funds, I would say to start small, you know, maybe buy a property like in the East Bay. I always recommend when you're in the investment mindset, you're going to look for opportunities, right? So what happens in the Bay, and you guys are in Houston, right? Where everything is new. And, you know, the buyers, you walk into a house, and if you're a buyer and you're thinking of buying a property, you want something that you're going to be able to move in. Like moving is already a pain in the ass, right?
Right.
Like nobody likes to move. I've done it way too many times.
Yeah.
But when you think about buying a home, you think about, I want to move in and that's it, right? I want to settle, move my shed in and relax. But realistically, that's not the best investment. That's for the people that have their, stuff established, that have the money in the 401k and can afford to just move right in, right? So if you're starting out and you may not necessarily have all the funds, I recommend buying the shittiest house on a nice block. Or buying land, or buying maybe a duplex. You guys, I'm sure you've heard of the term like house hacking. So house hacking is another way to buy. So like, for example, like, do you want to come back to the Bay, right? So there's an opportunity right now in Millbrae. The house is listed for like 1.1 million. It's a duplex, but it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then the other side is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The 3-bedroom is being rented for almost $5,000, right? A month. So if your mortgage on a $1.1 million property, let's say it's $8,000 a month. The lender, because it's a duplex and it's an income producing property, you can actually use the $5,000 that you're getting in income towards that $8,000. And then you yourself as the investor, as long as you have the down payment, you just have to be able to qualify to cover the rest. So that's a really simple way of being able to purchase a $1.1 million property, right? And using the income from somebody else. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still a lot of money. Like as an investor to come in, if you're living in the property, you know, you may get away with a lesser down payment if it's like an owner occupied investment property. But you know, it gets complicated, but there's loans for everything. There's a ton of opportunities out there. And so, yeah, that's what I would say about trying to get back to this side.
That's good info.
But for those people who are out here and they're like first time home buyers, because I remember you mentioned that, like, what do you think is like a major misconception that people have going into just home ownership as a first time buyer? You know what I mean?
I think people think that it takes a lot of money. So where you guys were at, like I asked you guys yesterday, what's the average price point in Houston? So if it's like $400,000, right? The government loans, and actually this is perfect timing because have you guys ever heard of FHA?
Yes.
Right. So those are the government programs, and they generally start off with like a 3.5% down payment. So let's do the math. It's after 5, and I'm gonna bust out my little calculator real quick.
Yeah.
So let's say you got a $400,000 property, 3.5% down payment is $14,000. So if you break it down to where I'm like, hey, you can buy this house, you need $14,000 for the down payment, and you don't even need to have great credit. So the deal with FHA is they can do as low as like a 580 FICO.
Wow.
And the nice thing about, so your credit doesn't even have to be like stellar. I don't even know I don't know if I've ever in my lifetime personally had a 700 credit score.
Yeah.
It's goal, it's hashtag goal still, but
Nice.
credit is difficult. It's hard to manage, you know?
Yeah.
So even me, the realtor from SF, you know,
Right.
I'm close, but I'm not there yet. It's hard. But you don't necessarily need it. You know, the FHA programs are available. I mean, think about it. You can, and there's gift funds, there's lots of programs. The other thing with the FHA is that they just, before they were not as attractive because your payment, when you put down less money, when you put down less than 20%, you usually have mortgage insurance. And that used to be, I can't even think of the calculation, but starting, I think it's the end of March, the FHA changed the regulation. So mortgage insurance is going to be half the cost of what it was before. So that's a new government thing. So now if you're buying a home on an FHA loan and you're closing now, I think it's like don't quote me, but it was like 0.08 or something like that, as far as it's going to be like 0.04. As far as, and that's literally money out of your pocket.
Wow.
So yeah, this is perfect timing because anybody can get in. And those FHA programs, they go not only for owner occupied properties, but you can do an FHA program on an investment property. I don't know how the Texas programs are, but in California, you usually, anytime you're going into a deal as an investor, you usually require a little bit more cash. Yeah, but with the FHA programs, it's a lot less than like a conventional deal because you end up paying a little bit more because the government's basically securing your loan.
So let me ask you this though, man. We ask everybody that comes on the show this, you know what I mean? And I think it'll go well for those first-time home buyers. What constitutes a slapping deal? You know what I mean? When you're out there trying to buy a house, what would you consider to be a deal that a person should look for to be like, okay, that's slapping in my favor. That's one of them ones that I can go with to try to own something.
So that's where I come in. And that's where your realtor and your connections really come in.
Okay.
So I joined Compass recently. Shout out to my brokerage because I love it. It's so dope. We have the coolest tools. I love it. We have really good tools. And what I really like about Compass is the network. So the agents in my office, like I said earlier today, real estate, there's like 5,000 agents here, right? And you guys know inventory all over the United States and housing is low. So when people keep hearing inventory is low, a lot of people don't even know what that means. That means that there's more buyers than there are actually homes for sale. And when you think about like San Francisco, right, we're like this big, like the Bay Area is this big. I mean, when we were growing up, there, like American Canyon didn't exist, right? There was no, what is that town out? Mountain House didn't exist, right? So the prices the prices in the Bay Area, they're always going to stay high because number one, everybody wants to be like California's California. We're special, you know, it just is. It's more liberal, diversity, the culture here, the weather, you know, it just is what it is. Don't hate people from other states.
I mean,
I know you guys.
It is what it is. It is. Yeah.
But people want to be here. People are always coming to California. And what is going to happen here is if you look at like a 20-year pricing, right? The Bay is always on an upward trajectory. It's always going up. So even when it dips, even in 2008, when things went down, I can tell you, like in the Bay, in the peninsula in San Francisco, it didn't get hit as hard as like the East Bay. Remember Vallejo went bankrupt,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
So what happens is the less desirable areas, right? That's what we call them, less desirable. That's the politically correct term.
Right.
Those places get hit really hard. So like back then, 2008, when things went down, Las Vegas was a ghost town. Austin was really hot. A lot of people were moving to your guys's Houston, Austin. And then those markets where people were fleeing to, those got hit super hard, right? But here in the Bay, they didn't suffer that much. And you know what? I can talk so much about real estate. I forgot what the freaking question was.
No.
No.
I'm like, what are we talking about? I can talk about this
What
shit all day.
constitutes a slap and deal? Like what kind
A
of
slap and deal. Okay, a slap and deal is so I always look for distressed deals. Oh, I actually have a letter. I hand wrote a letter and I'm going to go drop it off to a house in Daly City. Because I'm a good realtor. I don't just look on the MLS or, I go beyond. I'm resourceful, right? We learned that.
Right.
We learned that growing up in the Bay to be resourceful, right?
Real talk.
Yep. So I pull lists. So I find out like somebody is in distress, right? Like my grandma had a heart attack and, can't afford the house anymore, fell behind in the payments, whatever. Those are the distressed deals are the opportunities because that's when the bank is like breathing down somebody's neck to make a payment. They may not necessarily have the cash money. Their credit may be bad, but they have equity in their home. So that's when they may be like, let me sell this house so I don't lose the little bit of money that I have. And keep it moving, right? Instead of losing the equity. So that's where I come in and I go, hey, here's an opportunity. The market value for this is going to be X, but we can get it for this, So you're basically walking into a home with equity. The other opportunity is, like I said, buying the shittiest house on a nice block, Right. That's the other big money because labor costs in construction is expensive, but when you have a good realtor that has like the network, I met the best contractor recently. I'm not letting him go. And so I can say, hey, we're going to buy this shitty house, but don't be afraid and don't be nervous, even though you've never done a remodel. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, I got you and we're going to fix it. So that's always the best opportunity.
That's dope. That's dope because so many people, I believe so many people want to invest, but they don't, including myself. I wanted to invest, but it was like, okay, it's going to take so much money to fix this house up. Am I going to take a loss? How am I going to make this happen? And then, I'm not sure of what the benefit would be in the long term. Am I going to get somebody who can live in it? Are they going to mess my property up? There's so many questions I've always had about it. That's why I've never just stepped out and done it. But one question I want to ask you is, based on the fact that there's thousands of realtors, right, in California, in the Bay Area, period, what sets you apart? Why should they go to Rebecca Molano at Compass Brokerage?
You feel it?
You know what I'm saying? Why? You know what I'm saying? I like the Air Jordan shoe. I'm going to choose that because it has this feature, it has that, it feels like that compared to another shoe, right? I know why I want that shoe. I
didn't know I was going to be all put on the spot to sell myself. Okay, now you put me on the spot. Better thing to talk
about than yourself, you feel me?
Yeah.
So I have been in the business since 2004. I originated in the East Bay. And so when I started in this business, I was in 2004. I don't know if you guys remember. I hope you remember the Clinton days. We all had money. The economy was booming. Like everybody was feeling him, right? So back then I was able to get, I was doing loans for like the landscaper and for, people that didn't have necessarily papers or, we did all kinds of crazy loans. But I actually went through that process of being an agent, like in the good times, being an agent in the bad times, right? And then coming back, like once things were picking up. So the experience that I've had in all of that has taught me what to do and what not to do as far as real estate. And my approach to real estate now is this. This is me all day. I love to educate my clients. And I've always been, like I said, resourceful, right? I mean, we grew up in an era where we were like latchkey kids and
Right.
we had to figure shit out, right? And so the way that I deal with clients is I feel like the best client is going to be an educated client. So
Right.
I invest my time and energy. I don't get paid until you close, right? Until
Right.
the deal closes, I make $0. So driving people around town, spending time showing houses,
Right.
you know, I've spent 8 months with people and I make $0.
Right.
And I lose money, right? But so what I've learned from experience is that the best client is an educated client. So
Right.
I do this. We're doing the first time home buyer seminars. I spend a lot of time teaching people the process, because even if you know all of the pre stuff, it's really important for me that when we're in contract, that you know what to expect, that you know what's going to happen. And there's two reasons behind that. Number one, because I'm a professional, and in this area, you know, your reputation is everything. So people know me because I don't lie, you know, like my kids know in my house, you do not tell a lie. My kids tell on themselves.
Yeah.
Because they tell on themselves because you don't lie to me. That's it.
Right.
If you lie to me, that's the worst thing. I don't care if you did this, you did that. If you're honest about it, we're going to deal with it. Right. So I really like to be very forthcoming with people. Like that's just my style. And I think that as time goes on, people sense my authenticity, and I have a real desire to help people. And this business is it's fun. I love what I do. And so I like to really educate people. And I feel like when people feel empowered by what they learn from me, you know, that creates that trust. And I always have my client's best interest in mind. So
we can tell. We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell that
and slap boxers make dope teachers. So hence, you feel me?
you feel me? And I'm a gangster. That's it.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, but speaking of that though,
You're gonna be a G about yours. Yeah.
hey, but speaking about being and all that, hey,
All right.
Terrell, man, from Carson, California.
From
Terrell
Terrell from C. Arson. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Man. All right. So this brings us to the Wheel of Slaps though right now, man. Terrell just slapped in from Carson, California. He won 3 spaces on the wheel. Okay. So for those that don't know that are watching the show, man, the Wheel of Slaps is an opportunity for you to get in and get some exclusive slap boxing merchandise. For $1 a space to $ slap boxing, you can get as many spaces as you like and get your name on the wheel as many times as your dollars can afford. And this week's gift we're giving away is the slap boxing shirt that you see, SLP BXN. We got another one right here already bagged up. Oh, hold on. Already bagged up and ready to go. So get your slap hands ready, Sister Molano, because we're going to slap Terrell 3 times.
I'm not violent.
Oh, no, this is the most loving slaps possible.
It is.
These are the most loving slaps possible.
All right, how do we slap him?
Hold on, you just said you were gangster. Gangster.
Right.
I'm a retired G, okay? I'm an OG, okay?
Yeah, okay, there we go.
AARP gangster.
Let's get it. But I could slap him somebody once.
Right.
We do it like that. Let's get it.
All right, Terrell got 3, huh?
Yeah, you got 3.
3 slaps. Carson, here we go. 1, 2, 3 for Terrell. Thank you, Terrell.
Thank you, Terrell, man. We appreciate that, brother.
The city north of Long Beach, southwest of Compton.
Facts. Hey, so this brings us to round 1, though, too.
Round 1.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
Round
so
one. What we're about to do right now is we're about to have a slap battle, a little miniature slap battle. So my partner 360 is going to play a song. I'm going to play a song, and you're going to tell us which one you believe slapped harder based on the personal criteria. Okay.
And the theme is.
You go ahead and tell her, man.
Well, the theme. So anytime we have a guest artist, okay, yeah. But the theme for tonight. that would have been a good one, like about money, right? Because there's a lot. But tonight our theme is going to be about house and home. Basically, any song or artist or whoever that comes to the table with a song about a house, or they're talking about home, or whatever the case is, right? Because that's that's the basis of our conversation today.
Said house or said home.
Yeah, exactly. So we're building our themes around our guests. So tonight we're talking about house and home. You know what I'm saying? So So what we doing, man? Who
So
what-
you I think
right.
you did last week.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You got the last one.
So I'll do the honors of slapping first. And of course, Rebecca, you're gonna judge to see which one slaps the hardest. All right. So let me see. Let me get in my bag real quick. Oh man. All right, man. Okay. So oh man. All right. So my first slap is gonna be somewhat of a double play. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be the same, the same song for the most part. Hold on hold up. Yeah, so this is gonna be somewhat of a double play. And this is gonna be a shout out to our special guest for two reasons. You know what I'm saying? One, she's from Frisco. You know what I'm saying? Hurry. And two, and two, because she's a real estate agent and she's talking about the home. So let's go. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it.
Ah, he's a mark, blood.
Old school.
Oh no, okay. All right.
Nah.
All right. Hold on.
What's wrong? Why does it feel so right?
Come on. Oh.
I haven't heard this song in forever.
Ah, he's a mark, blood.
On the block with my cloud, running from holes. Spring breaking holes.
I'm telling you everything I miss about.
Started as a youngster, daddy was a hustler, creeping on the come up to keep my family happy. We hardly was ever starving, dinner like on the daily. From the 80s came the 90s, find me on the corner grinding. Big Ben gave out deals for 10, $20 in, and meant a lot to Queen and friends. I'm out at night on my mountain bike after them ends, thinking by the time I'm 16 I'll be pushing the Benz. Over two-tone Caprice classic, 415's glassing. Dolphins ass and I'm surfing past the 40 and I'm slurping. We used to play Nintendo, now we blowing Indo. Climbing through niggas' windows and searching kilos straight illegal.
I was exposed to this ghetto life, thugs and slugs, and every young nigga's dream was moving keys of drugs, showing hoes no love unless a bitch was beneficial. I'm trying to be like Felix Mitchell, using street utensil like techno chops and grenades. You had to grind for a timer if you wanted some shine. Do dirt, put it.
All right.
Yeah, we started out with Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle, you know what I'm saying? Everything I miss about home, and we segued into, the double play with San Quinn and Messy Marv, Home, off the Explosive Mode album, Frisco Classic.
Hey, so we trying to cheat though on the cool. You feel me? You feel me? Hey,
That was a slap. That was
hey,
a
it
slap.
was. Hey, blood. So remember at the end when he was like, "Oh, you must got the haymaker."
Yeah.
That was that one. Yeah, that was that one. I was like, yeah, I got you with that one. You feel me? And then when you first started, I'm like, is he gonna play Sherelle the whole time? Because I'll back go with that one.
Yeah.
That's all good though, man. That was a good one, man. I got to give it to him. I got to go back to my list now because he had that on the list. But not right now though, man, because everything I miss about home, man, and you was talking about it earlier, Miss Molano, where you was talking about ownership buying the ugliest house on the prettiest block. And I agree with that, but I'm like, you know what? I can just do a remix and buy the whole block.
Did it, man.
There we go.
Everything black bone. Might open up a bank and give my people homes. Thinking long term.
There you go.
Thinking like a boss. Before you shine,
I think he took it.
It's time to open up shop. Boss up, get you some locks and build from bottom to top.
It's time to buy back the block. Buy back the block.
Okay,
it's time to buy back the block.
Come on.
Buy back
Time
the
to
block.
buy back
It's
the
time to
block.
buy back the hood. Buy back the
Been getting
hood.
money since Moby Dick was a goldfish.
Buy back the hood.
If I sold my 9,000 square foot house, real estate, I can buy 3 mansions in the South. Interest rate, I can make the book of sugar bounce. Boing, I used to have a sack in the drought. Coin, more hopped in the kangaroo pouch. I think I might franchise a Ralph's. Or a Whole Foods or a Sprouts. Loyal to my soil like a spouse. My diamonds swinging, her pussy tingling. I'm dipped in gold, I'm kinging. I'm bona fide, he falsified. That nigga told, he singing. Bitch, I'm the shit like I'm lactose. Got it down chick like I'm Papoose. Bosses, lieutenants, and admirals. Tacticals, choppers, and calicos. In the bay trying to get by. That's why I stay high. The cost of the living is high. Every day my people die. Lord know I try. I see the tears in their eye. I come from nothing to something. All of my life I've been hustling. Me and my bros at the top. We're gonna go buy back the block.
It's time to buy back the block. Buy back the block. It's time to buy back the block. Buy back the block.
It's time to buy back the hood.
How have I
Buy
never
back the
heard that song? That's gonna be like my anthem.
Yeah. Hey,
How have
make
I
the
never,
best.
is that Ricky Rose? Who's that? Rick
Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah.
E40?
That's Rick Ross. Buy back
I think
the
that's
block
my new
remix.
anthem. Okay,
Yeah.
so on that, remind me to bring that up. Buying back the block. I want to talk
All
about
right.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, that's the remix though. That's not the original. That's the remix.
it. Okay.
Okay, that one
I
got
like
that's
it.
the West Coast version. So we got Nipsey Hussle on it. It got
Okay.
Slim
I
Thug,
never
we got-
heard that song.
yeah, we got
That's
40.
the winner.
Yeah.
Okay.
It even came in strong. It came
Right,
in with
right.
a drop,
It
you
came
know,
in
like-
slapping. It did come in slapping. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, but you mentioned that though. So go ahead and you might as well speak on it now. Since you want to buy back the block, go right into it.
Yeah. So, I just read a story and I loved it. I read a story about a nun in Redwood City that was literally buying up the block.
Mm.
So in one of these, again, I'm a realtor, so I have to follow guidelines, less desirable neighborhoods, right?
Right.
She is literally buying up the block and then I think she's renting them out or reselling them or something, but she's buying up a block in one of these kind of run down neighborhoods in Redwood City and cleaning up the houses. She's flipping them.
Right. Wow.
She's flipping them. And I just thought that's so cool. One of my ideas, which I got to Google this because it may be being done, is maybe like crowdfunding
Mhm.
for projects like that,
Okay.
but that is something like on a larger scale that I feel like the community could do. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's on my list. I got a lot of things I want to do. And I feel like there should be like a nonprofit or some kind of organization out there that's going to be empowering people and doing what this nun is doing, to kind of clean up the neighborhoods and give minorities an opportunity to become homeowners.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
Just property period though. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that lends itself to the generational wealth. Like this land and property can always be passed down to generations, right?
Right.
A lot of us in not only just hip hop culture, but just culture overall, we may not value a dollar. We're buying cars, we're buying clothes, we're buying things that are going to be, they have value, but they're not going to, we can't take that with us and continuously, provide that generational wealth to our families with those items. So that's important. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'm sure people are going to look that up and see what that's about in Redwood City. But let's take a trip back. We got our boom box, our slap box here, right? The boom box. And let's hit the old school rewind button on the tape. Let's go back to before Rebecca was dealing with real estate. Let's talk about your first job you ever had.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
My first job was a paper route. Me and my brother, we had a paper route in Daly City, dropping off papers on Clarinot Avenue, St. Francis, all over Daly City, man. That was my first job. We made enough money to buy a Sega, the first Sega. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the red and black one, the long one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was $120 and we was excited. We broke off, we both, paid $60 a piece. You know what I'm saying?
Aww.
So what was your first job? And then this is a two-part question. What was your first job? And then how did you get interested later on in life to become, what was that motivation to get you into real estate?
So my first job was I made $4.25 an hour. That's what minimum wage was.
Right.
And I was a youth advocate at the Daly City Youth Health Center.
Okay.
I've been a gangster since my teenage years.
Come on.
I got in, I was like, I don't even know how I got that job. But I was the one that, like, remember the Daly City Youth Health Center? I mean,
Yeah.
it was like where we all went, where when we
Yeah.
didn't have insurance, or like we didn't want to tell our parents where we were up to.
Right.
So I was the one that would like check you in and take your height and weight. But I was like 14, like doing people's vision tests and
Wow.
yeah. So it was a fun job. But that was my first job. And, believe it or not, I didn't finish high school. I
Okay.
actually dropped out. I mean, we went to ceremony. You remember
Right.
what
Hey,
high school was like.
hey.
And we were like set up for failure,
Yo, that's cool, man. Yeah. I can tell some stories about that 2-year experience.
Shout out to Edward and Richard.
Right.
Which Edward and Richard?
Ed and Rich. Yeah.
We ones, you already know.
Yeah, Ed and Rich, they're the homies.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my first job. And then I ended up getting into real estate. My mom got her real estate license first. So my mom was a single mom and she worked at Hitachi in Brisbane.
Okay.
And she always had like, admin jobs. She didn't have a college degree. She was an immigrant here. And so she got into real estate first. And I was working, I think I was like 20. And like I said, I'm resourceful.
Right.
So don't tell anybody, but I lied on my resume and I was a staff manager for AT&T. So I was 19 making like 50K because people thought I was older, and I had a management job with AT&T. But I was working and I got a call from a recruiter at AmeriQuest Mortgage. And I don't know if you guys remember that name, but AmeriQuest was a huge company, like back in the day when before the 2008 crash, right? Yeah. And so they were doing a lot of business, but the way that they did it was they would bring in like young people like me. And literally, you guys, the guy that called me was like, I'm 27, I drive a Benz, I own 3 houses, like this is where you want to be. And so I quit my job real quick. And then I went to go work for this mortgage place.
Getting it.
I was like, bye. And so I kid you not, my first real estate job was literally, it was in mortgage. I actually started out on the lending side. And the place was literally set up like Boiler Room. You guys remember that movie with Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
So it was like 2 rows and you had like a desk and a phone. And my job was to call like 200 people a day and convince them to apply for a mortgage over the phone. So I had to get like full loan applications. I had to convince you to give me your social security number, your income, your spouse's, and so in the end, I ended up learning a lot. But back then you could do both with the same license.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel good about selling shitty loans to like 80-year-old women. So I think I only lasted there a couple of weeks, and that company was part of like the whole demise of
lending, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
I don't know why I'm getting Wolf on Wall Street vibes. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally. All day.
Like, curious to know, out of 200, on average, how many would you actually get? You know what I'm saying? 200, that sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. It was a lot. I think on my best day, I got like 10 applications.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot.
That's still good.
That's a whole lot.
It was a lot. And so from there, I ended up I worked for a little boutique brokerage and I got my license. I ended up working as a loan processor because when you work for AmeriQuest, you didn't need to have a license. So I went in and got it and started off as a processor. So I learned from the lending side. And so that only empowered me to be able to do both. And then I switched over and then I did both for a little while and then the market changed. And now today they're 2 different licenses. So you can't, I mean, there are little loopholes that you can, so you can do loans and real estate, but they are 2 different licenses.
So in doing so, in paving this path to be a maven, you know what I mean? Like, what has been some of the biggest lessons or the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Oh my God, that it's so like you have to be good with money. I struggle with that shit today. I like to spend. I was out shopping this morning. I should have been working, but I was out shopping, So I think, in America, we're so programmed to be consumers. So I think that the most important thing is like setting goals, is really setting goals. And I think it took me a long time to learn that I don't have limits. I think the way that we're raised, we feel limited,
Right.
when the stuff that we see constantly comparing on social media, all the stuff, I feel like we lose sight of the fact that opportunity is endless where we are, So yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was number one, to be authentic and like to be who I am at all times. And, of course, like it's easier now that I'm 43 because I always tell people after 40, like you just don't give a shit what people think about you.
Facts,
and it's so empowering. Isn't that the best feeling?
Yeah.
Like as a woman to not give a shit what people think about me.
Right.
I'm free.
So is that what you would tell the 20-year-old Rebecca? Like, so 23, 24 years later, is that part of what you would look at yourself and say, look, don't care what anybody says. So actually, what would you say to the younger you? Knowing what you know now, life in general, going into real estate, you know what I'm saying? The love you have for money, what would you tell your younger self?
For the love of money.
I would say that nothing else matters. This is me telling me, is there's nothing more important in this world than the love that you have for yourself, and everything else is secondary. You got to love yourself first. I'm obviously God, but like the act of self-love is everything in your life, and I think as a woman and as a mother and as a codependent, because so many of us are programmed to be that, like I've actually had to go learn about codependency and learn about what it means to not take on other people's shit and to focus on my own, because it's so much easier to go, what are they doing over here? Or what are they doing over there? Or what problem can I go involve myself over here so I don't have to be here and looking at my life, So, yep, it's true. And I just feel like I wasted a lot of time. Like my mother would tell me, you don't have to suffer. Like you choose to suffer, And I'd be like, what are you talking about? But I love him, or some bullshit like that. Or, but I love my job, or, And the truth is like, we don't have to suffer. We don't have to suffer. We can choose every day to be happy. So today, every day, like that's what I do. And, as you get older, you lose people and, you start, feeling your mortality and shit just gets deep. Shit just gets deep. And then all the surface stuff, it just doesn't matter anymore. Fuck that. All that noise, fuck all that noise. That's how I feel now. Like if I had really focused on my goals, I'd be retired. I'd be having this interview on an island right now and showing you guys my beach house,
Yeah.
So that's what I tell.
About to become an island.
Don't tell my man that. He's like insanely afraid of tsunamis. Like we can't live in Pacifica because he thinks it's going to be inundated by water one day.
Man.
But hey, but hold on before you go any further though, man. We got East Palm Beach slapping in, man. We got Janae.
Florida's in the house.
Yeah, Janae. So forget the tsunamis. Let's go to get to the beach. Janae from Palm Beach, Florida. She got 5 slaps, man.
Janae from East Palm. Shout out to Janae, man.
Shout out to them 5 slaps. And it being season 5, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, perfect. Janae, one love. Yeah. We really appreciate it. Get your slap hands ready. And we really appreciate everybody who donates to the Wheel of Slaps. We know you work hard for this money, right? You donated it to us so we can bring you some great programming. So we really appreciate it.
Yes, we really do.
All right. Janae from East Palm. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the great state of Florida.
Man, thank you again, Janae. We appreciate that. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So looks like it's on you, man. You came through slapping and got the vote from Rebecca, man. So round 2 is
go first.
Are you gonna? Nah, I'm cool.
Nah. Okay. All right,
Okay.
man. Let me see though, bro. Which one I'm gonna come with, man? Because I don't know, man. You made me go back to the drawing board. So I had to, you feel me? You feel me?
You had to re-wiggle, huh?
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? But again, slap
Do
by.
I need to come up with a song? Am I gonna have to come up with a song? No. Okay.
No, not unless you get.
But you
not
will
yet.
get into
But-
a contest at a later date. So you
Okay.
will have to do the same thing that we doing right now.
All right.
But right now, since we talking about, you know what I mean, houses and homes and you know what I mean, I figure I'll just go, being that you in California, man, and we all know what's legal in California. Shout out to Burning the Cookies, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with the Mary Jane Girls, man, In My House.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take it through.
Yeah, that was one of my ones. Oh.
That guitar riff. Come on. Tell them.
For you can just best believe I'm the only girl in your life. I'll be your
one.
sugar in the morning and the sweet stuff you need at night. And you can just best believe when it comes down to making love.
Shout out to Mugzilla.
And it's when the right.
What we gonna tell them?
So when you need a little peace of mind,
What is it?
come on over for any time.
Okay.
I'll keep you happy and so satisfied.
Here.
There, in my not.
Come on.
Shout out to Van Silk.
You need some love and
Yeah.
tenderness. And it's me, baby, that you miss.
Come on.
Here's the key to unlock the door.
Where?
My house,
Not.
my house,
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Come on right there though.
my house.
Hit it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Mary Jane Girls. In My House, man.
Shout out to Van Silk. Not in my, yeah, that was a good one, man. So I got one loaded, man. I got one locked and loaded for that one. Now, being that this is Women's History Month, Women's Appreciation Month is about the ladies this month, right? So I'm gonna hopefully slap this and get approval from the ladies, man, because I think they all want to beat one of these that I'm about to slap. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rebecca, man. You represent the ladies this month, and we're gonna do it a little something like this.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Good one.
I like this little battle you guys got going on here.
Good one.
You know what?
She's a brick
Rick, what?
house. She's 90, just letting it all hang out.
Okay.
She's a
You
brick.
didn't tell me I was coming to a party.
Hey, that's what it. Yeah.
I like lady stack, that's a fact. Ain't holding nothing back. Oh, she's a brick
House. Hey.
well put together. Everybody knows this is how the story goes. She knows she's got everything
That a woman needs.
to get a man.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
How can
You
she
don't need it.
lose?
Thank you.
So she 36.
24, 36.
What a winning hand, 'cause she's a big
Hey.
house.
Yeah, the Commodore's Brick House.
Yeah.
1 and 1. We got 1 and 1.
Yeah.
We're tied. We're tied.
Ah.
All right, that's a good one. That's a good
So
one.
round 3 is a tiebreaker, huh? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
He's a
man. Hey,
tiebreaker.
you know what I mean?
So you mentioned you have children, right? So how, if I may ask, what are the ages of your children?
My kids are 19 and 16.
Okay. So let's say the 19-year-old who's close to, you know, venturing out and exploring life on his or her own, right?
Mhm.
They come to you and say, Mom, I want to get into real estate. I want to do what you do. What is
Funny you should ask.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what?
you see how she beaming though right now.
Yeah, like right.
I am. I'm excited.
So
Okay.
what's that one just one, if you can just narrow all your advice that you would give your child down the line, what would that one be, and say, okay, now go.
So actually, my son is going to be a third generation realtor.
Okay.
So you called that one. You called that one. And I didn't even know. So, you know, like I said, I'm first generation here. My mother was an immigrant, and my grandmother came to the US and was the first Latina woman to open a restaurant in the Mission District.
Oh,
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow.
so
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, she had a Salvadorian restaurant, and you know, she was a woman back then opening up a business. So I come from, you know, like an entrepreneurial background, where my family didn't push academics on me. Hello, I was at Ceremony High School.
I was right there with you.
You know what I mean?
Man.
It wasn't like, obviously nobody was really focusing on my education, but I do love my teachers. You know, they were all still the homies, the teachers from Ceremony High.
Yeah. Shout out to Miss Kennedy and Coach Kennedy and Coach Soden. And
they're all my friends still on Facebook. So what was I saying? So we didn't have I didn't have a lot of pressure on education. I dropped out of high school because I was a bad teenager. And so I don't know, I've always I wasn't the kind of parent that like was hella hard on my kids about grades, because honestly, who really gives a shit when you grow up? Like, I mean, unless you're going to go work in corporate America and climb the corporate ladder, like for me, if you're doing your work and you're being responsible, you know, I'm not focused on like, you better get an A, you better have a 4.0. So I think my parenting style was more around like making sure that my little boys did not grow up to be big assholes, you know, because I dealt with so many of them in my life, you know. I think that was my focus, more than like them having a lot of money or going off to a prestigious college or stuff like that. I just didn't want them to be like good human beings that care about people and care about the world, you know, and I focus a lot of self-awareness. Like I said, my kids tell on themselves.
Right.
So when my son came to me, like right before he graduated high school, he said, he actually told my mom first. I was so shocked because I had never heard the child have any interest in my job, nothing. But he said, I like it. I want to get into it. So he graduated. He's 19. He's going to be 20 this year.
That's dope, man.
In May, yeah, my baby, he's so cute and he's such a good boy. But in May of 2023. So in May of 2021, he had a plan that he was going to get his real estate license right when he graduated high school. And I was hoping that he would start the education while he was still in high school. Like in my mind, right, once he said real estate, I'm like, oh, we're going to line you up. So right when you turn 18, you could take that test, and then you can start working and making that money. And I'm going to show you. And, you know, we're about to hit 20 and he hasn't passed the test yet, but you know, he's a kid. So he's taking his time doing it. But he has a real interest. So the one thing that I've learned in getting into real estate is that it's vital to have a mentor or a coach. If you come into this business and you try to do it by yourself, I mean, you could do it very well. You'll end up like me, right? Almost 20 years in, finally like figuring the shit out, right? But if you come in and you find somebody that can mentor you and or likes to mentor, like I'm a natural coach, you know, so I like to teach people. So I started a team, and part of my business is going to be to help out new agents and help them develop the skills in order to make money, right? And be successful in this business. So that would be my advice, would be to not try to go at it alone. Because in this business, you take a test and you learn a bunch of stuff in a book, but then you go out in there and it's totally different.
Totally different. Yeah, I mean,
totally different.
I mean, I totally get it. My daughter's about to, well, she's a junior now, but we've actually had I may not go to college conversation. It took me back for a second, but then a part of me is, okay, so let's figure out a plan. I don't want her to be in college debt. So you need to go hard on these academics. If you want to go to college, we got to get these, you know, scholarships and whatnot. So there are those conversations that are happening. You know, a lot of parents, even including myself, feel like college is for every student. You need to go to college. You know what I mean? But if you don't, you do have to have an alternative. And so you being that resource in your child's life can set them up for a lifetime of success. You know what I mean? So that'll be
for
dope.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let
I
me ask you
feel,
this though. Go ahead.
okay.
No, go ahead.
I mean, as far as like the college, I've always, like my father, you know, he was Colombian and came here in the 70s. And his background was that he was like he came from a military background, right? Like he was he really did. I mean, one day I'm gonna write a book about my family. And
Come on,
it's a very interesting story. I say he's from Colombia. So he came here, but his big thing was go to school, go to school, go to school. For my brother, it was join the army. But for me, it was go to school. Right. And I didn't take that path, but it was something like when he passed, I thought I'm going to do that one day, you know, to honor my father. And I like education, but I tried education. I think I still got like $1,400 worth of student loan for some freaking college that I signed up for that I never finished, you know, because I kept attempting to do it, but it wasn't in me. It just wasn't, you know? And so like you know, when we talk about parenting and the teenagers, you know.
Right.
I read a book called Parenting Teens in the Age of Anxiety.
Wow.
You got to read it. You got a teenager, you got to read that book. Parenting Teens in the Age of Anxiety, because I thought I knew what I was doing. And this book said, oh no, honey, you need to learn all this shit all over, because everything you thought you knew when dealing with the transition from teen to adult, it's different. It's just different for these kids nowadays, you know?
No, it really is. But let me ask you this though, because you're talking about having a mentor and you mentioned those things and that being a vital part of success in this real estate game. Who is somebody that inspired you that may not know that they inspired you? You know what I mean? Outside of family, I mean, outside of, you know, mom, you know, dad, whatever, you know what I mean? Like maybe the guy at the store, you know what I mean? His persistence inspired you to go harder, you know what I mean?
You know, in real estate, I did try to go at it alone, right? For many, many years. And that's why I would do it and then get out of it and I would work as a consultant. Like when the market was bad, I got like regular jobs and I worked for larger corporations. But again, I'm an entrepreneur, so I didn't like working for anybody else. So at one point I became a consultant and then I tried to do real estate again on my own. And I went to work for a company that it didn't really provide any mentorship. And there's so many good agents, but you're going to laugh because the one, I'm going to tell you, the person that's really motivated me in the last couple of years as far as real estate was the brand new agent that I met, right? I met this girl, she had 6 months, she had her license for 6 months. And she went to work on a team, and the team had her really working. So this girl was brand new agent, no experience, and was out knocking on doors. Like that's some sav shit right there, right? I mean, it takes big balls to go out and knock on somebody's door and be like, hi, I'm a brand new agent. I have sold 0 houses, but I want to sell yours, you know? And so I mean, she was like, I'm only 5 feet tall. She was a little, I mean, she must've been like 20 years old. And she had sold 6 houses in her first 6 months of real estate.
Wow.
And for me, that was like, wow. I wasn't inspired by the people that had been in the business for a long time. I mean, they're inspirational too, but I was inspired by this youngin that came in like on fire, you know? And I think about her all the time. I'm like, because she's out there getting it. And the only reason I'm not getting it is because I'm sitting here talking to you. You know what I mean? Or like I'm sitting here watching Netflix, and you know,
right.
You know, so that was huge motivation for me in the last couple of years to hear that a brand new agent with 0 experience and a good coach. I mean, we're talking in the Bay, so you know, average 30K commission. That girl made $180,000 in 6 months of real estate.
Wow,
that's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we can tell, since we've been talking for almost an hour and a half, that you have a passion for real estate, right?
I do. I love it.
You have a passion for it. So this is our Slap It or Scrap It segment of the show. You remember Pump It or Dump It on 107.7 KML back in the days? Well, this is Slap It or Scrap It. So slap means something that you would keep, something that you would not ever get rid of. And the scrap it means, okay, I like it, but I can do without it. You know what I'm saying? So based on your love for real estate, it slaps, right? Real estate slaps. What is something that would cause you, what is one thing or nothing that would cause you to scrap real estate? Is there something that you've always had a passion for that you didn't get an opportunity to do, something that you love, but real estate came first? Is there anything that could make you scrap real estate?
No, there's not. There's nothing. You know why? So I'm gonna tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So I think that I've always been into a lot of self-help, right? Like I've always read books I'm a little ADD, so I listen to books as opposed to read them. But I've always done a lot of self-help. And I think that I used to think that like I had to find my passion, my one passion, right? And that's actually part of that parenting book that I learned. So nowadays, people end up having multiple careers in their lifetime, right? So I'm 43. I've been an HR consultant. I've been a realtor. I've been a finance director. I worked for a brewery. Do you guys know Speakeasy? I used to work for the Speakeasy Brewery in Hunters Point, right?
Yeah.
So I've had these different, like whole different careers. And I used to think that I had to find my passion. What's my one passion? And I wish I could remember her name, but I was listening to something and she was talking about hummingbirds and how, and I love hummingbirds. And so it was like, oh, this little God shot from me sending me a message. So hummingbirds come into an area and they pollinate, right? And they do their business and then they pick up and they go somewhere else, right? And so but that's their purpose. Like not everybody is built the same. I wasn't really built to go sit in an office and climb the corporate ladder, you know? And so I feel like I already lost my train of thought, you see?
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, no, it's cool.
So I feel like
it's
there's nothing. Yeah, that's what it was. So I'll tell you guys, I'm going to start investing. I'm not going to say I want, I'm manifesting this shit right now with you guys.
Let's go.
I'm
You heard it
manifesting
first.
this shit.
You heard it first, right here.
I want to open a cafe. I'm going to open a cafe. I've always wanted to have a little business, you know? And then my kids are hella bougie because they've been a little spoiled. So my son, along with being a realtor, he wants to have a fine dining restaurant.
Man, and y'all have the perfect name. Think about it, Molano's.
You like that?
That's clean. That's
so
clean.
he wants to do fine dining. And the other thing that I do want to do that I am doing is, you know, I think I mentioned to you guys before that I had a nephew that was killed in San Francisco.
You're right.
And he was one of those like typical stories, mission kid, single mom with mental health issues, and just got lost in that life, you know? And so one of my goals is to do a nonprofit. And I want to combine the two, you know, I want to provide youth services. I'm a coach, so I do like parenting coaching. I was doing that in the pandemic. I took a course at Cornell online during the pandemic, right? Like we were all bored as shit. I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I did go to school. I went to a little bit of school, right? And I went to a prestigious school.
You had to go to school to become an agent. You had to go to real estate school, right?
No,
take the class.
No, you do it online. You take a couple of classes, and you take a state exam.
Okay.
So you're it's not like formal. You can take a real estate principles course at a community college, but there's like 5 courses required. Oh, I'm taking the broker's test next. So I think there's 3 courses required for real estate. But real estate is one of those things that like you could decide you want to be a realtor today, and in like maybe 6 months you could have your license. And the investment education wise isn't as much as like a, you know, $200,000 that you're spending in college.
Man,
no, that's
I wish I had a $1,400 student loan bill like you got.
Man, right?
Man, I will pray for $1,400.
You're still paying on them student loans.
Oh my God.
But speaking of, oh my God, though, bro.
It runs into you know, trying to get a house. It messes you up a little bit. Just from prior history.
It does. But this is why we celebrate though, man, because bro, we got somebody international slapping in with us right now, man.
Oh, international slap. Where they from?
We got Patrice. I believe it's Patrice with 2 E's. You feel me? Patrice.
From
London.
French?
From London.
From London. You feel me?
We got the UK checking in. Let's go.
Yeah, you feel me? Hello
Let's
from
go.
the other side.
Oh man.
You know,
Okay, how many slaps?
Hey, he got one, or she, Patrice is one of those gender neutral names. Like
Right. Okay, well, 1 slap.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Patrice from the UK gets 1 slap. 3, 2, 1.
Take that.
Thank you, Patrice. We thank you for that dollar. We're gonna put it on the wheel, and hopefully you get a chance to win that SLP BXN, that colorful, the new colorway we got going on. Our partner is wearing right there, and Rebecca, we got one for you on the way as well.
Thank you. Is that like a little homage to In Living Color?
Oh yeah! Shout out to the 90s.
You want to do.
Right?
You can walk on the moon, float like a balloon. Yeah.
What'd you say? It's
Oh,
never
man.
too late and it's never too soon.
Take it from me, it's all right to be. Yes. So yeah, man, it's about that time for round 3, man. And I think what I'm gonna do is
Tiebreaker.
I'm gonna go ahead and defer, man. Go on, you know what I'm saying? Go on and slap, bro. I'm gonna defer.
Right, man, because he trying to, you feel me? See
I still gotta get my bag together, man. Because you be coming. Because you probably got another haymaker coming out the cut, man.
Man, I got a little something, man. All I'm gonna say is, you know what I'm saying? I think that first of all, I'm so thankful for Sister Rebecca just coming giving us this game today.
Thanks.
Like that made me, really think more about, getting on the investment side, man. It just, you know what I'm saying? But especially in California, because I too was scared away by those prices. But I think at least owning a few pieces of property out there would be great. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So with that being said, though, man, I just had to hold on. But
okay, Drake. Okay,
we're going on.
Good one.
Oh, you guys want to come home? That's right, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's a good one,
man. Get your drink, man. We're gonna 2-step to this. The strobe lights.
I got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. I can't get over you.
Can't get over you.
You left your mark on me. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different around me. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. I know exactly who you could be. Just hold on, we're going home. Just hold on, we're going home. It's hard to do these things alone. Just hold on, we're going home. I got my eyes on.
Man, y'all know what it is, man. You feel me? Hold on, man.
All
You
right.
going home.
All right.
We might not home.
That was a good one. So man, you know what you know how the whole phrase when he's like, man, I'm about to pack it up and what do we say when we about to go home? I'm about to, what we gonna do? I'm gonna take it to the house, man. It's a trick, daddy. Let's go.
Good.
Hear the drum.
Finna take it to the house. Just get on up and get down. All of my peoples all across the world. This song goes out to all the boys and girls.
Shout out to Patrice, right?
Shout out to Patrice. Yeah.
Slip and slide getting loose. More punch than your bowl of juice. And ain't nobody more jiggy than us. Stuff so rough it causes head rush like whoa. Give it to me, bring it here. Don't stop, girl. Shake it here, shake it there. Let Money Mark get off your derriere. We off the chain for the whole year. So if you look good with a big old butt, live in your own crib and make your own bucks.
Hit me up, tradeplus.com, and tell me where you from.
Smoke out, choke out, we get off the chain like we just broke out. You don't know about me, J. Dot. When I come through, all the haters get hot. Cause I got more dang, more cheese in the bank, more rain. My dogs on dubs, yours ain't. My dogs do whatever, yours can't.
We them that's gonna make you get up out your seat and
Hey.
you don't play, take it to the house. Am I?
Yeah, Trick Daddy, man. You know what I'm saying? Featuring the Slip and Slide Express, Take It to the House.
Let's see.
You feel me?
You know, I personally, I like to bounce a little bit, so I'm gonna have to give it to Take It to the House. That was the slapper of the two.
Yeah.
Drake's got that mellow vibe, but you know, we
Yeah.
gotta.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But so before we get out of here, man, how can people get in contact with you though? If they want to, take advantage of those seminars, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
So
social media.
I'm on, you can go to my website, www.rebeccamolano.com. And I know you guys have viewers everywhere, so I'm not limited to the Bay Area. I am a resource for people, including you guys. So I'll expect you guys to call me up, and
Absolutely.
we'll get on that plan of, and I'll help you guys, line up some things so you can start investing.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. My phone number, 415-941-9393. I cover San Francisco and the Peninsula, and I have agents all over the Bay Area. And
Repeat that number one more time.
415-941-9393. And like I said, I like to be a resource. So if your daughter wants to get into real estate and wants to hear, you know what I mean? Like, feel free to give me a call if people want to get into the business or they're interested. There's so many different aspects to real estate, So use me. We're a resource.
Absolutely. So we have been talking to Rebecca Molano, straight out of San Francisco, California, representing the world though, because she's not limited to the Bay. Call her up. She'll hop on that plane. She'll get you out there. She'll make some things happen so you can achieve your dreams of being a homeowner, investor, or whatever it is. We right here on SLAPPZ TV on YouTube. That's SLAPPZ TV. You can find us on Instagram at SLAPPBoxing. That's SLAPPBOXIN. On Twitter, you can find us at SLAPPZ TV, SLAPPZ TV. And on Facebook, you can find us at SLAPPBoxing as well, SLAPPBOXIN. You know what I'm saying? We everywhere like air. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shout out to the homie 40. You know what I'm saying? And we right there. So at this time, we want to say thank you for dropping in, but we're going to go to the wheel and see which one of our lucky
Contestants won today.
contestants won the wheel of slaps and gets the fresh t-shirt. Show them that merchandise one more time, man.
Oh, so let me sit back. Yeah, this the SLPBXN. You know what I'm saying? We got one already bagged up, ready to go for you.
Yeah.
Bagged up and ready to go, man.
Yeah.
We about to see will it be Terrell, Janae, or Patrice?
And those of you that did not get an opportunity to submit to the Wheel of Slaps, go to slapboxing.com, SLAPPBOXIN.com, and check out our fresh merchandise. We got a whole new line coming up of new fresh. Hey, look at that. It's called the Slap on the Wrist. And that's our wristband piece right there called the Slap on the Wrist. All right. So check us out, y'all. All right. So let's get to the wheel. Let's see what's going on, man. Let's see. Let me share the screen one time. Like we do every time, man. Y'all, let me get a thumbs up when you can see the screen, when you can see the wheel with our special guest right in the middle. Yeah.
So cute.
Oh, man. So we got Patrice, we got Janae, and we have Terrell.
Yep.
So what we say, man? Shake them up, shake them up, shake them up, shake them. Rolling in a circle of homies and watch me break them.
The 7,
7-11,
7-11,
7
even back though.
Go, Lil Joe. Here we go. Who's it gonna be?
Oh man, dang.
Woo, international.
Hey, that shipping finna be a mug.
Hey, let's go into real estate real quick so we can have the shipping fees, man.
Right. Yeah, Patrice.
Oh man.
Patrice, man.
Shout out to Patrice.
It's in the mail.
Shout out to Terrell. Shout out to
Janae
for slapping in with us, and shout out to Patrice for being our winner tonight. But special shout out to you, Rebecca, for slapping in with us. Make sure everybody who's listening to us right now, make sure you tap in with her. Her number, again, is 415-941-9393. Tap in with her, check her out. Give your socials one more time on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you are.
So I'm Rebecca Molano, Realtor on Facebook and IG.
All right.
There it is.
Short,
There it is.
to the point.
And one thing we didn't talk about was that I had Black C from RBL.
Oh, yeah.
You can't not talk about
Oh,
that.
come on.
Oh, man.
So I do have a YouTube channel. It's I don't even know what it is, but I will link it. It will be linked on my social media. But I just started it. So we did one of the seminars with Black C from RBL Posse. Like I was telling you guys earlier, he did come on the show with me. So we did one segment where I gave kind of like an overview on real estate investing and kind of some of the different options. So that's really good. It's like an hour-long video. And then I have another segment that I'm going to put up this weekend about credit, all about credit, getting your credit up to speed. And we actually had a lender on. And then, you get to hear a little bit about RBL and, a little history.
Wow.
I was very starstruck because,
Right.
Legendary status. And shout out to Black C. He just released his new album last Friday. The Black Album is SLAPPZ.
He's writing books.
Yeah.
And you know what? That guy is so humble. Like he's just so cool. I love that guy. He's awesome.
He's definitely one of my favorite celebrities on the planet, for sure. Yeah.
And so you guys, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. And I'm here for you guys. I could talk real estate, all day. Any day, all day. I'm here.
Okay. And like we say every week, y'all could have been anywhere in the world. You could have been out there in London with Patrice. You could have been in Palm Beach with Terrell and Janae. You could have been in Carson with the other homie. Which one was it? Terrell from Carson.
Terrell, yeah.
Janae from Palm. Man, but y'all were here tonight with us, slapping, getting it in. We had a great conversation, but you know what I want y'all to do from now on?
If you wanna play to win,
Come slap with us.
dope prizes every spin.
Come slap with us.
Cash app a couple dollars.
Come slap with us.
And if you wanna slap harder,
Come slap with us.
if you wanna play to win,
Come slap with us.
dope prizes every spin.
Come slap with us.
Cash app a couple dollars.
Come slap with us.
And if you wanna slap harder,